street space. And this is the mayor's COVID pop-up cycling and walking schemes that he pushed through during the pandemic when nobody was watching. And the High Court recently ruled that the mayor of London acted unlawfully with his latest road scheme called Street Space. Mrs. Justice Lang ruled that Sadiq Khan took advantage of the pandemic, unquote, to push through, quote, radical changes, unquote. And after a case was brought by two taxi organizations, including the LTDA, the head of which, Steve McNamara, was on my show 5 or 6 months ago, and we were talking about the struggles of the LTDA and his 18,000 members. And again, I am a big fan of taxi drivers because they're entrepreneurs. They invest 3 years of their life learning the knowledge so they know what the streets are. They invest 60, 70,000 pounds sometimes in the latest electric taxi cab drivers, and yet the mayor goes out of his way to sabotage their businesses oftentimes. And I take a taxi home every single night. And I just want to shout out Isa from Somalia, who I was talking to the other night when I went home. We were talking about the same issue, and he said, Brian, you're going to win. He said, what has the mayor done in 5 years? Name one thing. And neither of us could name a single thing. And he said, I'm so frustrated because handicapped people, they have no means of transportation right now on Bishopsgate because of this street space scheme. And he said Sadiq Khan doesn't recognize that taxi drivers are actually part of TfL and a necessary part of transport in London. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's disrespectful to the hundreds of years old taxi driver industry, and I think it's disrespectful to entrepreneurs in general. And it just goes to show you how the mayor operates. And so I'm so happy that the High Court ruled in the favor of so many people that were against this. And again, they called the scheme, quote, an ill thought out response, and they called it unfair. And the reality is that the mayor should apologize for pushing these plans through as a temporary measure, quote unquote. That way he avoided the typical level of public scrutiny and consultation. And like I said before, handicapped citizens have no other options than to use black taxis in these areas, and they are banned from these areas. This is thoughtless and senseless to our handicapped citizens. And I believe that the mayor should compensate taxi drivers whose business has been badly hit by the lockdown and these schemes. But of course, in the meantime, the mayor has announced that he will appeal the decision. And wait for this. The decision currently remains in place because it was brought in as a temporary measure. So while the appeal is being heard, these schemes, which have been deemed unlawful, are still in place because the mayor put them through these temporary means, which means it didn't have to go through the usual due diligence. So again, I think this judgment has left many questions unanswered about the knock-on effects for schemes across the capital, including LTNs and low traffic networks. And again, the current mayor avoids discussions and consultations at all stages. He's unelected, he's unaccountable, and he is avoiding scrutiny.